Today, we are diving into something that feels like a bit of science fiction. It's a new framework called AutoAgent, and it has a really bold mission to give everyone, and I mean everyone, the power to build their own custom AI. So let's just start with a number. 0.03%. That's it. Just let that sink in for a second. What on earth could that be? You guessed it. That tiny fraction is the number of people on this planet who can actually code. That's the group of people who currently hold the keys to building custom AI tools. It's basically a giant wall, right? Between the incredible promise of AI and, well, pretty much the rest of us. And that really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? If making AI requires this incredibly rare skill, how can it ever really be a tool that's for everyone? How do we tear down that wall? To figure that out, we first have to get a really clear picture of the problem. So let's talk about this AI coding barrier and what it looks like right now. Right now, if you want to build a custom AI agent, an AI that does a very specific thing just for you, it's a massive headache. You need to be a serious programmer. You've got to wrestle with these super complex frameworks like LangChain or AutoGen. And what this means is that the other 99.97% of people are completely locked out. It creates this huge bottleneck, stopping us from getting truly personalized AI. And this right here is where AutoAgent steps onto the scene. You can think of it as a kind of universal translator, something that can turn our plain English words directly into a working AI. Just look at the difference here. On the left, that's the world today. It's complicated, it's slow, and it's super exclusive. But on the right, that's the promise of AutoAgent. You just use natural language, there's zero code involved, it's as intuitive as having a conversation. It's all about empowering literally everyone to create.
So, what is AutoAgent really? Well, the official definition is a fully automated and self-developing framework. The most important part of that phrase is self-developing. This thing doesn't just follow a list of commands. It actually builds the tools and workflows it needs all by itself, just based on what you ask it to do.
So what does this actually look like for you, the user? It's ridiculously simple. This whole process is basically what's shown in Figure 1 of the paper. Step 1, you just describe what you want. You could say, hey, compare Apple and Microsoft stock performance for me. Then AutoAgent gets to work. It builds everything it needs, maybe a little financial analyst agent, some tools to grab stock data, and the logic to title together. It runs the task, and then it just hands you the report. Your only job in this entire process is that first step. Just ask. Okay, now for the really cool part, the part you're probably wondering about. How does this magic trick actually work? Let's pop the hood and look at the method behind what its creators call an AI operating system.
So the whole system, which is laid out in Figure 2 of the paper, is built on these 4 pillars. The best way to think about it is like your computer's operating system. You've got your basic programs, you've got a CPU, you've got a file system for your documents, and you've got a way to install new apps. AutoAgent has all of that. Let's break them down. First up, we have the agentic system utilities. These are like the pre-installed apps on this AI's computer. Right out of the box, it has a team of specialists ready to go. There's a web agent that can surf the internet for info. There's a coding agent that can write and run Python code to do complex calculations. And there's a file agent that can read your local documents. An orchestrator acts like their manager, passing your request to the right specialist for the task. These are basically the system's eyes, ears, and hands.
Pillar number 2 is the LLM-powered actionable engine. Now, if the utilities are the apps, this is the CPU. This is the brain of the whole operation. It's the part that takes your plain English request, figures out what you really mean, and then cooks up a step-by-step plan for the other agents. And what's really cool is it's super flexible. It can plug into pretty much any LLM out there, from the big names to open source ones.
Okay, the third pillar, the self-managing file system. This is a total game changer. It answers that classic question, how do I get an AI to understand my documents? It solves this by taking any file you give it, a PDF, an audio file, a spreadsheet, and turning it into a special kind of database that organizes everything by meaning. All your personal stuff instantly becomes a searchable, intelligent knowledge base that the AI can use to answer questions. And now for the final and maybe the most mind-blowing pillar, self-play agent customization. This is the secret sauce that makes true zero-code creation possible. When you ask for something new, this module acts like an AI software developer. It writes the code for a new tool, but then, and this is the genius part, it tests it. It creates little test scenarios, finds the bugs, and then rewrites its own code to fix them, over and over again, until the new tool works perfectly. You don't lift a finger. So the theory is absolutely incredible. But we've got to ask, does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at how AutoAgent did when it went head-to-head with some of the other leading AI systems out there. So the first test is a benchmark called Gaia. It's known for being a really tough test that sees how well AI assistants can handle complex, real-world tasks. And well, the results speak for themselves. AutoAgent comes out as the #1 open-source solution, which is just wow. So let's just quickly break down what this means. First, it is the undisputed champion of the open-source world. Second, its performance is right up there, nipping at the heels of the best closed-source systems. And third, it was the very first system to break 70% accuracy on the easier Level 1 tasks, which proves it's incredibly good at solving the kinds of problems you and I face every day. Next up, they tested it on something called a RAG benchmark. This is all about an AI's ability to answer questions by reading through a bunch of documents, exactly what that self-managing file system was built for. And would you look at that? AutoAgent absolutely crushed it. It blew past other methods, even other agent-based systems, with way higher accuracy and a much lower error rate. So why is it so much better? Well, the researchers say it's because AutoAgent isn't stuck with a preset plan. It can create and change its strategy on the fly. That flexibility, that ability to adapt in the moment, is its superpower. It leads to smarter, more efficient, and just plain better answers. When you put all of this technology and these amazing test results together, you arrive at a really powerful conclusion about where we're headed. The future of building things isn't going to be about writing code. It's going to be about having a conversation. And this quote, straight from the paper's conclusion, just nails it. The key word here is democratizing. This isn't just about giving developers a slightly better tool. No, this is about handing the keys to the kingdom to everyone else, to the experts, the small business owners, the scientists, the hobbyists, and just letting them run wild and solve their own problems. And if you want one final jaw-dropping example of what this thing can do, the researchers gave it a crazy task: design your own logo. So AutoAgent just did. It created a new Da Vinci agent, built the tools it needed to generate images, and came up with a bunch of options. The image you're looking at right now is one of them. An AI, asked to create its own identity, simply went and did it. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. This isn't a what if anymore. The wall between having an idea and actually building it is crumbling. So the question is no longer, can you build it, but what will you build? If you could create your own personal AI assistant just by describing it, what would you make?